Hi guys, so today we'll be sharing our deck profile. Basically we brought VSK9 to YOT Indonesia, and myself, CL and Aston, we all brought the same list card for card, and I think we all did pretty well. I ended top 32, CL ended top 64, and second after Swiss with only one loss. And Aston was one win away from top card, but I think we'll share a bit more about our experiences after we go through the deck. So without further ado, let's go through the list. So when we actually theorized this list, it is pretty cookie cutter in a sense. The reason why we chose this deck, first of all, was because we felt like, again, high roll option gives us the best chances of winning the whole tournament. And we went with a bit more generic route to ensure our chances of actually getting to the top card. So yeah, without further ado, 3 Raisin, 3 Mad Love, 3 Su, 3 Tialong, 1 Borger, 1 Caesar. This is pretty much the normal setup. We went with 1 Borger. The reason why is just to not brick so much on the Borger. And even though, yes, people play the second Borger for the name of Holy Su and the Dark attribute, the thing is that the K9 already kind of sufficiently covers that Dark attribute. And with Maxi at 3 and a lot of draw hand traps, it doesn't feel right to play more bricks, especially in already like less consistent deck choice. Then of course, part of that package, we have 3 Stake, the 4th Raisin, Rota. This card actually won me my top 64 because my opponent ashed the Stake, and then I just Rota case a K9, and that was that. And then of course the Field Spell and the Trap. For the K9 side, 3 Joko, 1 Lantern, 3 Zuna, 1 Lupus. If AE follows the OCG ban list, one is Raisin's gonna get hit, of course, and also this package will really drop. These cards, in my opinion, really overperformed in terms of just providing extension, and of course, this is how VS plays into draw. Just you immediately make the Ripper without having any searches, and then you just win the game from there. You're Nibiru or draw proof. Yeah, and then of course case and quick play. Even though this is kind of a brick, the thing is that we still play the double Ripper werewolf OTK, and case of course can increase your attack into matchups like Lunalight, and it also helps you go to OTK easily because your Ripper and your werewolf are just absolutely massive, and you have an extra interruption, or extra 2 interruptions with the pop and the werewolf banish. So into the mirror and into Yummy, this is very useful. Yep. And then for our non-engine slots, these are relatively generic as well because we have a Maxi minigame, 3 Ash, 3 Maxi, 3 Fua, and 1 Shifter. Some people consider playing different hand traps from this just because of the ratio, because of the attribute, sorry. Because the win attribute, drawing that going first especially does kind of suck. But the thing is that as long as one of these cards resolve, your opponent's making a half board, which means with VSK9, you can close your eyes and win the game. And of course, you're maximizing your chances of drawing into your turn 0 plays like Holy Su Nizuna. A lot of people don't main Shifter, or I even saw a list that cut Shifter. The reason why we main Shifter is because of draw. And yeah, so if you activate Rota and you chain Shifter, they just can't draw you. And under Shifter with a VS board itself, you win the game, and even the top deck Maxi, things like that, it's stuck in the hand. And of course it's an FTK against Lunalight, and sometimes it's an FTK against Yummy as well, depending on whether the player knows how to play and of course their hand. I even shifted a Sky Striker player, and that was good fun. Yeah, his rules got banished. Anyway, then we move on to the extra. 2 Rock, 1 SP. I think the flex slot here was IP. So about 2 weeks ago, a week ago, we actually changed from Hita to IP. We were actually discussing in a car ride why IP instead of Hita. So we were actually playing the Hita Doggerang package in the side and extra deck because we were kind of scared of Lunalight. But the truth is that we decided to go with a more generic approach because we want to maximize our chances of basically getting a top cut. The chances of us meeting a Lunalight in a 9-round Swiss with 500 players is at maximum going to be 1 out of the 9 rounds. And we already have cards like Shifter and of course our turn 0 plays. So having extra outs to Lunar Light didn't make as much sense. And of course, because Case and Werewolf are also out to Lunar Light, and Rocks plus Caesar is also a possible out to Lunar Light as well. Of course, once you clear out their Baguska and their first board wipe. Then we play 2 Ripper. Like I said, this is for the K9 Ripper OTK with the Werewolf. I did this like 3-4 times throughout the tournament. So yeah, it's really effective. We played 1 Nash Knight with the Umbro Horror package. This was mainly for Mirror. I think I only made it twice. And then I got super polyed because this is dark and the link one is dark. But you basically make this 1 in the Mirror, but number 2 against Mitsurugi as well. The reason why is because if they go for Murakumo and then they will just try to chain block, so basically they can't put Murakumo as the last chain because you can negate it. Then you have a Ripper negate on their last chain, and then you can activate the quick play to pop the Murakumo. So if they Murakumo negate, obviously you can then negate and negate, and then they lose half life points and a card in the hand. So you're forcing them to basically lose 1 graveyard effect and the Murakumo on the field. That's the theory behind it. In practice, it worked. Unfortunately, in my matchups, it didn't really come up. I did this once against the pure Mitsu and got super poly, so it is what it is. Then, of course, Velen. This is for Yummy. I made this once just to get rid of a back row. But yeah, it's still useful. And then, of course, Zeus. Zeus, I made this like 5 times, like throughout the tournament, like clearing boards after trying to break them, and they're just trying to stop everything. And then K9 is the last push, and then with Zeus, and then you just have like Raisin in your hand. Like, it just wins games. And it won me a Yummy matchup as well. In that game at least, I lost that match, but yeah. And then Tifon. Tifon is for Murakumo, for Caesar in the Mirror, and for Mitsu Raizio, which is something that I was a bit scared of going into the weekend because I tested the deck as well, and I felt like the power level is super strong and it's almost as high rolly and slightly more consistent than VSK9. So this is mainly for that deck as well, but I only met 1 and I lost to it. Yeah. Okay, then we go through the side deck. 2 Bell. This is for Yami and for Mitsu. Yeah, you don't side this in for the Mirror or anything. You also side this in for Lunalight. This also stopped the Gimmick Puppet FTK when I played against that in top 32. But he had skill drain. This 2 Nibs, this is actually for the Mirror. So you side this in going first in the Mirror, you side this in against Yami and any kind of rogue as well, any kind of big combo variant deck as well. So this +1 will win you the game. It didn't really come up for me. I don't know if it came up for you guys.
One time.
Once, yeah. But yeah. Yeah, and of course also we decided to play 2 ops and 3 ops just to have more variants. Since the meta format is extremely wide, I think we saw maybe 8-9 decks across like the whole across the maybe the top card, the top tables, things like that. And of course, because you have 3 Maxi, 2 Gamma, VFD, things like that. So the format itself, because of its power level, is just very flexible, very dynamic, there's a huge variety. So you need to cover as much as possible. 3 Droll. I almost cut this to 2 because the attribute kind of sucks. However, in the Mirror and against Mitsu and all its variants, except for August and Yami, this card will just end their turn. So it feels like a must-have. Yeah. Copy standard, 2 call by for the Maxi minigame and for Droll. Yep, standard. 2 reboot. The reason why 2 reboot is because of
we can.
Because we can. I think there are a lot of floodgates. There's 3 rivalry, 3 Gozen. There's also 3 anti-spell. And a lot of people are also just like playing the most random things. It can go from Black Goat, even CL got D-barrier. Things like that can happen. So
But you see in the first game.
But but I mean, but still, so that's why like reboot works really, like it's a must-have essentially for almost any deck. Just because of how many floodgates there are. And then we went with 3 anti-spell. So the reason why we went 3 anti-spell is because again we're playing 9-round Swiss. We want to see anti-spell as much as possible because it is an FTK against most decks. I don't think a single deck can break a full VSK9 board under anti-spell. And if you can't necessarily go to a full board, even if it's a half board, at least you can slow the game down. Against any deck except Yami and VSK9, theoretically you should be able to slow it down to a grind game with anti-spell. And your VSK9 should definitely be able to grind from there. Unfortunately, whenever I saw anti-spell, which was about 2 times, I lost those games. But it was because I would see it and my opponents, one game was my opponent hand trapped me like mad, the other game is I bricked. So that's that. Yeah. So yeah, I guess we go one by one. For me, my tournament experience, yeah, I lost top 32. I think, yeah, overall the weekend I only made 2 misplays. Only one was game defining against Yami. But other than that, I think the deck performed super well. Across essentially 11 rounds, I only bricked twice. Unfortunately, I bricked in the top 32 game 1, and game 3, I stopped the game public FTK, but he had skill drain. And I only had 2 Raise and 2 Meta Love in hand. So that is just like it is what it is kind of situation. But overall, I think this deck overperformed in my opinion. I think I appreciated. I liked every single card choice that we made together, and I think the list was, in my opinion, perfect. Honestly, like I don't think I would make any change. But yeah. Yeah, go.
Yeah. Okay. So I started in top 64 against Yami. So actually, I feel Shen's is right. The deck is super comfortable for me. But in my top 64, unfortunately, I break twice. So in my first game, I draw the quick play, I draw the trap, I draw the 2 slack or so.
The best cards.
1 Su. Opponent just ash me, then that's it. And full Yami combo. That's it, I lose. And after the second game, I break again. I draw again the quick play, trap, lantern, and bell, and one more is the case. I still break again. Yeah. But I still think it's a good deck. Yeah. Very good deck. Yeah.
It is a pretty solid deck. I would say that, of course, for me, I did miss top card for sure, just shy of 64. But I think the deck overall works pretty well. But from my experience, I would think that most of my lessons come from learning more about the time call rules within Indo and the YOT management committee. So at least from my experience, there are a few times when they would declare loss immediately. Because what happens is after they call time call, the judge will come over to your table to check whose life points are currently higher at that point of time. So it's very different for different tables because it depends on when the judge walks over to your table. So for example, those let's say if you're in the first row, you'll straight away get the hammer, and then they say your life points. Oh, it's 1.5 difference from Bogger. Okay, settled. Then you lose. Yeah, that's about it already. So there wasn't much to say for those kind of results. But I would say overall, maybe cards that I would shout out probably would be Bell, a very good side deck card, or utility card. Other than Bell, probably would say Typhon. So even if Lupus is the worst brick, not the worst brick, one of the bricks in your hand, -1, Typhon turn 0 is still sometimes can win the game. Yeah, can really make a difference. So I'll probably shout out those 2 cards as my MVPs for this tournament. Yeah.
Yeah, I think my MVP is definitely Rota and Case, funnily enough. Even though post game 1, so our signing pattern actually post game 1 is that we side out Case and Rota to play lesson to draw. Even though they won me many game ones, not many, but the important ones. But yeah, I think we played quick play things like that just to up the power level, and yeah, I think we just played the most high roll version we could. Also understanding that the VS also plays the best into things like Floros and Maxi.
Right.
So yeah. Oh right, and shoutouts. Shoutouts to our whole group essentially. Everyone that traveled with us, they're all sitting behind right now using their phone playing games. Like Loyu behind the camera, DJ, Eugene, Izzy, ZP sat there, Chavas as well, Francis, Desmond, Zhao Guang, people like that. Shout out to Agora Hobby, my dad boss is over there. But yeah, best casuals in Singapore. Who else? Any other shout outs for you guys? Shout out Gao Jie, sorry.
Gao
Yeah,
Jie.
yeah. Oh, shout out Calvin?
Calvin,
Yeah, yeah.
Training buddy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I see CL and Calvin stayed back often at Agora just to play Yami versus VSK9 matchups. And I think the results kind of showed because Calvin was undefeated for the first 7 rounds and CL was second place after Swiss. So I think that just goes to show like the time that you put in does kind of pay off in one way or another.
Also sad for the Calvin. He also break 2 games in
Yeah.
the top 64.
Yeah. So yeah, shout out to Calvin. Shout out to all the Singaporeans that came out as well. Like Sui Kai also got top 64. ZB also got top 64. Calvin of course. Lan Yang as well, and then even in the OCG side, shout out to Yogi Bear for the top 12 as well. Banana for 3rd place with Borderstan.
Best deck. We all can say it. Best deck.
Yeah. Anything from you?
I think honestly that covers everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
really it.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Peace. Last one. Holly.
Sue!